It's Thursday, August 31st, 2023. We have some really big problems, especially with the U.S. economy. And when you take a look at some of these problems, I find it amazing that people on the television or even people that we know personally, some of our friends, believe everything is going to be okay. When you just look at a few things, look at credit card balances absolutely exploding. Look at the student loan repayment that is about to begin, and look at the headwinds that is going to cause for the U.S. economy, $15.8 billion a month. You look at auto loan delinquencies now skyrocketing. You look at 25 to 30,000 cars being repossessed a day. Mortgages, look at the debt to income ratios. How is this even sustainable? We got real big problems, and that's just to name a few, ladies and gentlemen. The consumer is under extreme pressure right now. As I make this video, they've been under extreme pressure for at least a year, and more pressure is to come. And the question is, how much more can the average U.S. consumer handle? I don't think much more. Right here on CNBC today, again, this is another repetitive article on CNBC. 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Inflation is still squeezing budgets. It seems like every week this same article comes out. But this article, I've been reading this article for a year now. 61% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. Now, I believe it's even higher than that, but it says here 78% of workers earning less than $50,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. That is astonishing. It goes on to say 65% of workers earning between $50,000 and $100,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. And people go, well, how can anybody making $100,000 a year be living paycheck to paycheck? Well, you know, if you were making $100,000 a year 2 years ago, you were probably pretty comfortable. But what happens is, when gas prices go up, when utility prices on your 3,000 square foot home goes up, when gas prices on your Cadillac Escalade go up, when your taxes go up, your property taxes, your health insurance goes up, all that, you begin to feel the pain. So $100,000 2 years ago for a household was very good money. You were living comfortable. Not so today. And so people don't realize that. They just believe, well, if you're making $100,000, you should be okay. Well, yeah, but things have changed over the last couple years. Prices of everything have gone up, and so say like your property taxes went up on your home. Well, you were probably living in a nicer home than the people making $30,000 a year or $50,000 a year. Your health insurance has gone up more. Your food prices for your family of four have gone up more. So the $100,000 household income doesn't go as far as it once did. Again, 2 years ago, you were very comfortable. Now, you're barely getting by. Only 45% of people have an emergency fund, and 26% said it's less than $5,000. You know, if you have less, if you're a household right now and you have less than $5,000 saved up, I feel sorry for you. You have to right now build that emergency fund up immediately. Emergency. Got to get that emergency fund up immediately. That's an emergency if you have less than $5,000 right now for a household. Even as an individual, if you only have $5,000 saved up, how long can you go between rent or mortgage, the car payment, the credit card payments, the insurance payments, the cell phone payments, eating food, paying utilities? How far does $5,000 go right now? This is getting very scary, ladies and gentlemen. And I think about how many people don't have $5,000 saved up? How many people right now don't even have $400? Half this country doesn't even have $400 saved up right now. And we are heading in to a historic economic period in America. Dollar General expects $100 million headwind from theft. I mean, this is absolutely disgusting. Here we are, America. We say we live in the greatest country. We say we're the greatest people. Yet we are looking at this shrinkage known as theft taking place in the retail sector. Dollar General down 12% today. The retail industry is incurring significant financial losses due to crime, or as they call it, shrinkage. It is a $100 billion problem for the retail sector. So, you know, how do these retailers, how are they going to survive? We just shut the economy down for over a year. The economy is struggling daily now. And then now, on top of all these problems, the weak consumer, the struggling economy, now these retailers have got to continue to deal with crime that is absolutely soaring out of control. $100 billion hit, and that's continued to be passed on to you and I. Many stores will just close. That will just take the tax base with it, takes jobs with it, takes people's standard of living with it. It's going to affect commercial real estate as we see more vacancies, because stores will continue to close if they continue to be robbed. And so everybody loses, from the city's tax base to the individual jobs to commercial real estate prices, just to the morality of this country. It's really an embarrassment to what is happening here. I didn't know that America had so many thieves. The Hedge, U.S. consumers paid for July spending spree by burning through $150 billion in savings. So where did the purchasing power to fund this spending spree in July come from? Well, people are getting more and more tapped out with their credit cards. So where did it come from? Well, today's household income and spending data showed in July, the U.S. household savings rate collapsed by a whopping 0.8% from 4.3% to 3.5%. So people are absolutely wiping out whatever savings they have left. Total amount of savings collapsed by almost $150 billion from $850 billion to $706 billion. And remember, that was I think that the U.S. savings was over $2 trillion at one point. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have that number on hand, but I think it was well over $2 trillion. And now we're down to $706 billion in total savings. That is very, very concerning. Now, Americans are going to keep burning through whatever savings they have. They're going to keep tapping into the credit cards. We're going to see some very, very tough times in America. Here's another one, Bloomberg. And this is mainstream media, ladies and gentlemen. CNBC, Bloomberg. Poor Americans tap debt, buy less food as consumer cracks widen. Among households using SNAP food stamps, 42% skip meals in August. This is what a bankrupt country looks like, ladies and gentlemen. We have people, now yes, some people no doubt could be out there working, getting a part-time job or getting a low-wage job and helping feed themselves. I understand that. But there are millions, tens of millions of people out there who are disabled, for what reason, cannot work, maybe retired, whatever the case may be. There are people out there who are struggling, who are working two jobs and still cannot make enough money to feed their families and pay their bills. This is what a bankrupt nation looks like. A nation today where we're sending billions of dollars to other countries while we have our own citizens right here not eating enough food. Not everybody's lazy, but there are people that are dependent on the system now for whatever reason, and they're not getting enough food. So I just don't get why we have this money, why we can print this money out of thin air and send it all over the world, but we can't send it to people right here who need it. Very, very sad. Wolfstreet.com. Core services inflation jumps to second worst since 1985. Non-housing services are red hot. Fed's job far from done. Year over year, the core services PCE price index accelerated to 5.4%, the second worst since 1985. Yes, the Fed is far from done, and people don't realize this. People are still, investors especially, believe that the Fed is going to come rescue them, that it's going to save these markets. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to come to the realization that the Fed is not your friend, that the Fed may purposely destroy these markets. The Fed is going to slam the brakes on the housing market. I do believe they're going to slam the brakes on the stock market. and people are about to feel very, very severe pain. You're beginning to see the writing on the wall right now, and if you're not preparing for this, I don't know what to say. I really, really don't. I'm concerned at the data that I'm reading every day. I'm concerned reading these articles because it's telling you and I that big trouble is coming. Let me repeat that. Big trouble is coming. And when you have people that don't even have $400 saved up, when you have households that don't have $5,000 saved up, big trouble is coming, ladies and gentlemen. An economic tsunami is coming. And if you're not preparing for this right now, if you haven't been preparing for this, you're going to be in big trouble. Your family, your household is going to be in very, very big trouble. The people who are going to prosper, the people who are going to get wealthy are the people who have a war chest prepared for this, like Warren Buffett. These are the people that are going to absolutely prosper. These are, again, the 1%, the institutional investors, the institutional money. These are the people and groups that are going to absolutely prosper here. And there are people like you and I who are doing the same thing. We're preparing, we're putting reserves away, we're putting a war chest away, we're getting ready for sales. JCPenney is spending $1 billion on store and online upgrades in latest bid to revive business. They're no longer even publicly traded at this point. I cannot believe that they even have $1 billion right now to put towards remodeling stores and upgrading its online shopping site and app. It's absolutely amazing. I think that JCPenney, I can't even believe they're still in business. When they were being traded, I think their stock was at 1.5 cents, maybe less. Not even publicly traded now. They're going to invest $1 billion in this depreciating asset, I will say. How much longer will JCPenney even be around? I can't even believe they're around today, but I wish them the best. Good luck, but I don't think they're going to make it. What does Warren Buffett know? The economiccollapse.com. Speculation grows that Buffett is bracing for a recession. I can't even believe people still believe we're not even in a recession. We're in a recession. We've been in a recession. Warren Buffett is bracing for a depression. What does he know? He's not buying the dip, ladies and gentlemen, like most of the dumbed down retail investors are doing. He's going to buy the collapse. And I believe that's going to be a time, the right time to enter these markets is during a collapse, not a dip. Berkshire Hathaway sold a net $8 billion in stocks and slowed its pace of buybacks last quarter, sparking a 13% rise in its money pile of cash, now sitting at about $147 billion. Berkshire dumped $33 billion of stocks over the past 3 quarters, fueling a $38 billion increase in cash and T-bills. What do they know? What does Warren Buffett know that 99% of consumers and investors do not know? Right now, as I'm filming, military helicopter flying over, and yesterday I was driving down I-10, and while this military chopper is flying overhead, very, very low, yesterday I'm driving down I-10, and for the second time in a week, a mile-long train of military equipment, just railroad car and railroad car, railroad car of military equipment, second time in a week. So what is going on? What is happening that we don't know about? It always concerns me a little bit when I see that much military equipment sitting on the trains going somewhere. Another article today, Ford issues recall for 42,000 trucks over defect that may cause crashes. This is for the 2023 F-250 and F-350 trucks. Left rear axle shaft may have been improperly heat treated. Now, I'm not going to just pick on Ford here. I own a Ford. But it seems literally every week or every month, it's another article of a manufacturer, an auto manufacturer with some kind of defect. Not just a couple thousand vehicles, it's tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of vehicles that are defected that have to come back to the dealership for a replacement part or repair. These are $100,000+ trucks, ladies and gentlemen, This should not be happening. 42,000 trucks with a rear axle defect. Unacceptable. But we're seeing this literally. We've seen it with Dodge, with Ford. It's happening to everybody. I think Kia just had another one. But what is going on with the quality of autos today? Please comment down below. And I will finish with this last one. Navy veteran brutally beaten while walking his dog. He was beaten in his own neighborhood near a Philadelphia park. He was robbed. He was left with a brain injury, 100 stitches, and numerous broken teeth. This seems to always be happening to good people minding their own business. And again, as I leave you today, I hate to be a broken record, but exercise situational awareness. If you see something that, or a group of people that you have questions about, maybe just go the opposite way, cross the street, avoid them at all costs. Don't take the chance. Make sure that you're working on security. Make sure that you have the proper training. We are just living in such a time where society is breaking down right before our very eyes, and you could be this person. Do everything you can to avoid it. If you can't, you have to go to plan B. You have got to protect yourself. Make sure that you are training and that you have the proper security tools. But number one, avoidance at all costs. That's the best thing to do. Avoid this if you can. If you can't, then you don't have a choice but to protect yourself and defend yourself. But this always seems to be happening to good people, to elderly people, to women, to veterans. It's such a sad state of affairs that we're in right now, that some older gentleman walking his dog is victimized by, I believe it was 3 attackers, broken teeth, 100 stitches. His dog is okay, just to let you know. He's going to be okay. I watched the interview of him. Man, his face looked like a jackhammer hit his face, basically. Just a mess. But thank God he's walking, he's talking, he's going to be okay. But, you know, he's probably looking at months of rehab. And it could have been much, much worse. So pay attention out there, ladies and gentlemen. There are some very, very evil, bad people walking around. You don't know who you're walking by. You don't know who's walking around the mall today, who you are driving next to on the road, and who you know, may have a dispute with on a parking spot, or running a light or a stop sign. It's not worth it. Just avoid it. We are going to see a lot more of this, ladies and gentlemen, because we are now entering a period now in this country where people don't respect the law. They don't respect you. They don't respect life. They just are absolutely straight up evil, and they have no problem doing bodily damage or even taking your life, or absolutely looking at them funny, walking by them. Maybe they want your watch. Maybe they want your shoes. Maybe they just want your wallet. They're willing to take it to the next level. So be very, very careful out there. God bless every one of you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Be safe. Don't get complacent, ladies and gentlemen. Be preparing, be training, and be educating yourself. God bless.